Mexico is known to be not just a beautiful country, but a deadly one. This weekend, Mexico is holding historic elections, but by historic, we mean it's been the deadliest electoral process in recent history, with over 130 politicians murdered between September and June 2018. At the same time, the country has been dealing with femicides, journalists being murdered, forced disappearances, missing students, drug cartels, organized crime, and traditional political parties that has exacerbated inequality, classism, racism, and corruption. Between Felipe Calderón's presidency in 2006 and Enrique Peña Nieto's, so far more than 207,000 people have been killed by violence and militarization. But it's no mystery that the spike in murders was caused by Calderón's war on drugs, backed by the Mérida Plan developed with the US government under Bush. Before 2008, there were 2,000 narco-related murders annually, and now there are 2,000 every month. So why are the killings and disappearances still increasing? A lot of territories in Mexico are stateless, meaning the government hasn't guaranteed security, public education, proper healthcare, or access to opportunities such as culture or sports. All of this increases the likelihood of violence. Calderón focused on combating the drug supply, but he did it over security concerns instead of a social or healthcare issue, ignoring prevention, treatment, and education programs to curb the drug demand, which has led to today's violence. During Peña Nieto's presidency, more than 104,000 people were murdered while corrupt leaders took charge. 17 former governors who have been in power in the last decade are under investigation, imprisoned, or fugitives. Politicians may be proud of their solid institutions, but Mexicans are living precarious lives as a result, with an increasing class divide where some are born with opportunities, but most aren't. Those born without opportunities become the most vulnerable. It's an unfortunate fact. According to the OECD, half of Mexicans who are born poor will remain poor their entire lives. And those who are born ignored and forgotten by the government are the most vulnerable for criminal organizations, such as the Sicariato, which recruits children as hitmen. And the upper class? Well, the upper class criminalized the lower class, ignoring the fact that most of these children were forced to participate as a consequence of a system that has failed them. The barbaric actions and impunity of Mexican government have brought us to where we are now, the most violent electoral process in history. This Sunday, 4 candidates face off in the presidential elections. The center-left candidate and frontrunner for the elections, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, right-wing candidate Ricardo Anaya, the officialist candidate José Antonio Meade, and the independent Jaime Rodríguez Calderón, El Bronco. The Institutional Revolutionary Party, PRI, right-wing candidate José Antonio Meade, should just fighting corruption, but he hasn't been able to confront the national scandal over how the PRI has ruled the country with impunity, manipulation, and illegality. He's even been accused of embezzling more than $27 million as head of the Ministry of Social Development. Conservative National Action Party PAN right-wing candidate Ricardo Anaya proposes doubling federal authorities with support of the armed forces, which has been done before. But he's also being accused of money laundering in connection with an industrial warehouse he sold to a ghost company for more than $2.9 million. Jaime Rodríguez Calderón, aka El Bronco, is a right-wing independent candidate previously with the PRI. As a governor of Nuevo León, within his first 2 years, he broke his electoral promises and abandoned his governor position to run for president. During the first presidential debate, he suggested cutting off the hands of criminals, and he was recently sanctioned by the Electoral Tribunal for using ghost companies and public servants to promote his candidacy. Lastly, we have Andrés Manuel López Obrador, also known by his initials AMLO. He's a center-left candidate for the National Renewal Movement, Morena. It's his 3rd time running, with the polls showing him as the favorite to win. 3rd time is a charm! He proposes to stop fighting violence with more violence. His main objective is to defeat corruption, although his only proposal for it is claiming he's not corrupt. And although he has been opposed to the business elite during the last decade, he seems to have been smoothing things over with them, while also making an alliance with the conservative Social Encounter Party. We are undoubtedly facing one of the most violent and polarized presidential races in recent Mexican history, dividing those who sympathize with López Obrador among those who oppose him. The real risk, however, what will happen with the business elites after the elections, and how much power will these neoliberals have? And most importantly, will Mexico continue facing the brutal violence caused by the drug war that continues to rock the country?